You ever stop and think about what's really holding together these massive digital systems like Bitcoin or Kaspa? Networks that are worth billions of dollars? It's not some high-tech vault or an army of security guards. Nope. It's all built on a foundation of pure digital trust. And the craziest part? The whole thing is secured by one tiny, surprisingly simple number. Let's dig in.
So here's the fundamental problem we're trying to solve. In our world, digital information is, well, flimsy. It's easy to copy, easy to change, easy to delete with just a few clicks. So how on earth do you create a digital record, a ledger, that is permanent, something that can't be tampered with by anyone, ever?
Well, the solution that blockchain came up with is kind of like creating the perfect, unbreakable digital lock. The whole point is to build a system where, once you lock away a piece of information, it can never be forced open or changed. It is sealed for good.
Just picture it like this. Every new group of transactions is like a box filled with important documents. To add that box to the chain of other boxes, you have to seal it shut permanently. And to do that, you need two things: a totally unique lock that only fits that specific box, and the one-of-a-kind key that proves you locked it the right way.
And that, right there, brings us to the hero of this whole story, the nonce. Now, the name just means number used once. But in the world of blockchain, the nonce is everything. It is that special, one-of-a-kind key that miners are desperately searching for, because it's the only thing that can actually lock the block.
Okay, so what is this key really? Well, from a technical point of view, it's actually less like a key and a lot more like a single dial on a giant, complicated machine. And what's wild is that this one dial is basically the only thing miners get to control.
See, a block is full of all this other data, right? Stuff like the transactions and the timestamp. That information is pretty much set in stone. It has to be accurate. The nonce, though, it's completely different. It has no real function or meaning. It is literally just a number that exists for one single purpose: to be changed over and over and over again.
And this is absolutely crucial. By turning that dial, by changing that one little number, a miner completely transforms the block's unique digital fingerprint, what we call its hash. Every tiny tweak of the nonce produces a totally different and completely unpredictable result. It's cryptographic chaos.
So this is where mining actually comes into play. It is a non-stop, global hunt, a high-stakes race to find that one specific nonce, that one perfect setting on the dial that solves an incredibly difficult puzzle laid out by the network.
And the way they do it is just pure, brute force guesswork. There's no elegant solution here. A miner grabs the block data, picks a random nonce, calculates the hash, and then checks, did I get lucky? The answer is almost always a resounding no. So what do? They change the nonce by one, and they try again, and again, and again, millions, even billions of times a second. There is no shortcut.
And we're not talking about just one person in their basement. This is a worldwide competition. When you add up all the miners across the entire network, they are testing trillions of possible nonces every single second, all of them hoping to be the one to find that golden nonce.
But why? Why go through all this trouble? Why burn all this energy just to find some random number? Well, it's because finding the nonce isn't about the number itself. It's all about what finding it proves.
This really gets to the heart of what we call proof of work. Because there's no way to cheat, the only way to find that golden nonce is to actually do the hard work, to burn the electricity, to run the hardware, to make the guesses. That successful nonce is the undeniable, verifiable receipt that proves you put in the effort. And that receipt, that proof of work, is the whole prize. It's the golden ticket that gives the winning miner the right to officially add their block to the chain and, of course, collect the reward. By proving they did the work, they earn the trust of the entire network.
So, let's recap. We have this incredibly expensive, energy-guzzling lottery just to find one number. It sounds crazy, right? But this is where that cost creates incredible value. This whole frantic process is precisely what gives the blockchain its legendary security. Let's tie it all together.
You see, that golden nonce works like a kind of digital superglue. Its solution is uniquely tied to every single piece of data in its own block. And it's also tied to the digital fingerprint of the block that came before it. This is what creates that strong, unbreakable chain.
Okay, so now let's say a bad guy wants to mess with the past. Maybe they want to go back and delete a payment they sent, trying to get their money back.
The very instant they change a single character, one bit of data, in that old block, the whole thing shatters. The original lock breaks. That original golden nonce, the key that took so much work to find, is now totally worthless. The proof of work for that block is gone.
And here's the kicker. For their fake version of the block to be accepted, the attacker would have to redo all that work and find a new golden nonce. But since that would change the block's fingerprint, it would break the next block in the chain, so they'd have to remine that one too, and the next one, and the one after that, all the way to the present. To pull it off, they would have to single-handedly outrace the combined power of the entire global network. It's just not going to happen.
So when we boil it all down, it comes back to this: a tiny, functionally meaningless number that costs an absolutely staggering amount of real-world energy and effort to discover. And that leaves us with a pretty deep question to think about. In a world where everything is digital and easy to fake, what's the real price we have to pay to create trust without needing to trust anyone in charge? Apparently, it costs a whole lot of work.